Hey everyone, it's Blake. Welcome in to episode number 36 of our TCW Save and TEW 2020. This is Total Mayhem, our season finale event, our biggest show of the year, everything we've been building towards since we started this series in January has come to this. The huge event of the year, Total Mayhem, is upon us, and we got a lot to get to. So we're going to jump right into it. As we start things off here, we come on the air, and we get the visual here of basically just a sitting camera, right? Just a camera that is focused on this car that is in the parking lot. And we hear on the commentary team saying, folks, we welcome you to Total Mayhem. If you're wondering why that this camera is essentially watching this black car that is sitting outside of the arena, Kyle Rhodes just says this thing has been sitting there for a long time now, and everyone's kind of speculating what is going on. We've had a security officials try to go out. No one will, basically talk to them. No one will say anything. But Rhodes says, here's what we do know. This car, we know, is exactly like the one that ultimately we found out that Ernest Youngman was driving whenever 3 months ago, Wolf basically called for the hit on Aaron Andrews. We had all the backstage stuff, everything else that was happening in that particular segment where Aaron Andrews' team just got taken out. All of his allies got taken out. Youngman drove away with Andrews in the car. And so Rose just says, I don't know why there's a lot of suspense. We know the syndicate's in there. And so as Kyle Rhodes is talking about this, and we just see this camera zoomed in on this big black car sitting in the, in the parking lot of the arena, then we see Ernest Youngman make his way out of the car, and Rose just like, well, finally, why has this thing been sitting there for so long? And Youngman gets out of the car. He makes his way towards the entrance of the arena. As Rose just says, well, we know Ernest Youngman's making his way in, but I wonder what Wolf Hawkins, Eddie Chandler, and Nate Johnson are talking about inside that car. And so that's kind of how we leave it here with this one, as it gets an 82 rating to start things off. So as we said, Ernest Youngman making his way into the ring. So we start the show as the camera's now cut to the ring, and it's Troy Tornado, who is waiting inside the ring. And Rhodes also notes on commentary, well, folks, we know why Troy Tornado's waiting. He made the challenge to Ernest Youngman on the last edition of Total Wrestling, and we know the syndicate was not there, so we didn't get the official answer. Does this mean Youngman's going to answer the challenge for Troy Tornado at this particular show? And so Troy's waiting. You guys know he is going to officially answer the challenge. Youngman eventually makes his entrance here, 60 for the segment. And yeah, so we have Troy Tornado waiting inside the ring, and that is going to lead us into our one-on-one match. The two former tag team partners, Ernest Youngman and Troy Tornado, are going to go one-on-one here. And Tornado tried, right? He said he's trying to get his career resurgence, all that. And, well, Youngman eventually turns on him. He thought he had done everything he could to prove himself to Youngman and the syndicate, but Wolf called for the hit, and Youngman did that to Troy Tornado, his former tag team partner. These guys who went away from being the tag team champions, but it didn't turn out. And so now we get the grudge match. Troy Tornado, Ernest Youngman. How's it going to unfold? Well, in a 58 match, not great, but it is, of course, Ernest Youngman getting the win over Troy Tornado, 731 with the hit. You guys knew that was coming. So Youngman with a 72 on the in-ring performance. Troy not bad here on the 63, but 58, why? Storytelling. So I tried everything I could to put a pre-show match that would use the storytelling note, but we had no time to do it. Like, we couldn't put any more time to prevent the burnout, note and everything. And also the referee situation. You only have two referees. I need to go hire a third. Clearly, I just have not thought about that at all. That's not been a priority. And so we tried to put a pre-show match to use the storytelling note so we could get away with just doing this regular, get a few more points out of the rating here. But it was like Ray Johnson, Charles Hapstander, two referees. They have too much to do. So in any combination, I tried tweaking match links and everything, but it just never worked out. So we just used it for this one. We didn't think this would be a great match anyways, but the bigger story is that Ernest Youngman gets the win. And if you look at kind of everything here, odd face heel combinations because they're both heels. We have not made the official face turn for Troy Tornado yet, but we will do that. And again, that would have helped here, but it's a small thing. I'm not really worried about it. So we'll do that. But the bigger story is that Ernest Youngman gets the win. Well, it's Ernest Youngman, right? He's not going to celebrate after the match. He stands over Troy Tornado afterwards. He's just giving them the hit. One of the most devastating moves in professional wrestling. Youngman standing over Troy Tornado. He's looking down at Troy. Then the crowd starts buzzing in a sort of a scene that we've seen before here. Because who is standing behind Ernest Youngman? Well, It is the guy who Ernest Youngman took his spot in the syndicate. Chris Flynn is back again. And Chris Flynn spins Ernest Youngman around, tries to go with the Flynn lock, which I think is just one of the worst name moves I've ever seen. The Flynn lock. It's kind of catchy, though, I guess, if you really get into it. But tries to go for the Flynn lock, but Ernest Youngman able to wiggle his way out, and Youngman gets out of the ring as Chris Flynn, a ball of rage here, as usual when we see Chris Flynn. So last time we saw him, he lost the one-on-one match to Wolf after he made his previous comeback. Now he's back essentially taking aim at the guy who took his job in the syndicate, Ernest Youngman. So the two muscles here for the syndicate, potentially a rivalry brewing as Chris Flynn makes his presence felt here at Total Mayhem 66 for this particular segment. All right, then we get to our International Championship match, and I'm just going to tell you right now, this is disappointing. I thought this would do way better. 78 is probably not what I thought it would be, but Joshua Taylor, a 69 for his in-ring performance. Are you kidding me? This guy is usually doing easily in the 70s. I think I've seen him in the 80s one time, but he did not bring it here. And so the story is, it's a good thing because we're not going to reward him because he didn't bring it. Because T-Bone Bright, folks, for the first time, is a singles champion here in TCW. His first big championship win as T-Bone wins the returning International Championship 15-15. The Power Slam does it. T-Bone with an 80 on the in-ring performance here. But I am disappointed by Joshua Taylor here. This guy had been on a tear, having some good matches, all this other stuff, but he did not do it well here. Inconsistency penalties for both these guys, but I just expected better from these two. Actually, not even these two, from Joshua Taylor, and he let me down here on this one. So we'll see if that plays into perhaps a story a little bit moving forward. But T-Bone, afterwards, he gets the big victory, right? He's standing in the ring, and so T-Bone is standing there, and the officials come over to award him the championship. And so T-Bone gets awarded this prestigious international title that has made its return. Meanwhile, we get the visual of Joshua Taylor, who's just sitting in the corner, and he's got his hands on his head here, and he looks dejected, and he should be after that performance. He should be dejected for letting me down for that match rating, which I thought could probably do in the 80s somewhere. But we only get a 78 out of it. Hopefully it's not a sign of things to come with the big matches on this card. But T-Bone, again, your international champion, and we will see what happens next for Joshua Taylor. His first loss in TCW since Psycho Circus against Aaron Andrews. That was last December before we started this save. He has won every match since then, but he takes his first loss here. The T-Bone Lariat does it for T-Bone Bright, your new international champion. 71 here for this one. All right, now we're going to look at a video package here, kind of taking a look at Eddie Peak's goal to destroy Mighty Mo. And we know this has been brewing again for basically 5 months now since the start of the save. Eddie Peak has been intertwined with Mighty Mo and Tana in some way, shape, or form. The Center Society, set out to kind of take these two out. They've just not been able to do it. Mighty Mo, one half our tag team champions, and we know they're not defending the titles tonight because Eddie Peak took it to another level, took it to the extreme here as he went and really just kind of targeted Tana and his leg. And we know Tana's sidelined with a leg injury indefinitely now. And so this is the big one-on-one match. They've not been able to take the tag team titles away from Mo and Tana. Peak wants to do it himself. He said he wants to bring out the dark side of Mighty Mo. Is he going to be able to do it here on this show? And Mo has said that he'll bring out a side that Eddie Peak's never seen before. So both these two guys very angry and frustrated heading into this match. What will that mean? 68 for the segment. And in an 80. Wow, this did better than the T-Bone Bright Joshua Taylor match. Wow. All right. Well, once again, we're going to blame Joshua Taylor for that. This thing definitely exceeded expectations because Mighty Mo gets the win over Eddie Peak in 8:22 with a plunging spine buster. 85 for Mo on the performance in this match. Even Eddie Peak with a 73. Eddie Peak outperformed Joshua Taylor here. Boy, Taylor, I'm glad I didn't give you the title because I'm still fuming over that one right now. But we did do Wild Brawl for this, so these two guys did go all out. That definitely helped, I would say, to get the 80 rating. And so we get, the usual bonuses here for the all-out notes and everything. But, yeah, I mean, the rating was capped through the short match length, and we had to keep this a little bit shorter because, again, stamina-wise, I think Eddie Peak, you do Wild Brawl, go all out. I don't think we're doing a 15-minute match with Eddie Peak at this stage of his career. And we just needed to kind of, adjust the numbers where they all worked out. And so they worked out here in our favor, getting an 80 out of this one. This definitely exceeded expectations, like I said. But The story here is that Mo does kind of bring out a different side. Not the dark side of Mo, but really just a different side, showing off all that, frustration and rage and just taking it out on Eddie Peak for hurting his tag team partner. And that's the story here, is Mo just the aggressor in this one, when usually it's Eddie Peak as the aggressor in all these matches, but Mo kind of takes it to that, next gear here, and Mighty Mo with a big singles victory over Eddie Peak here at Total Mayhem. What will that mean for Eddie Peak moving forward? He's, once again, come up short in his quest to conquer Mighty Mo and Tana the Mighty. Even though Tana's sidelined with the leg injury, Mo, once again, gets the upper hand on Eddie Peak. So what does it mean for both moving forward? We will find out. 80 here for this segment. All right, now, one of our featured attractions, I would say, on this particular card. We get kind of the match rate, go into the match here, as, I like to kind of use the angle sometimes to play up what's happening in the matches. Since you can't do that as great here, just based on how everything's laid out. But the story here is that Greg Gage, of course, comes in, and he's very confident, right? This guy's already successfully defended the TV title 13 times. So, of course, he's going to be confident early on. And the story is that Ed Stone, every counter he tries to, make to get the momentum here, he just can't do it because Greg Gage is so good technically, right? We always talk about that. And so that's kind of the story of the match. But we get sort of towards the end here, and Ed Stone starts to fight his way back. He starts to get some of those counters that weren't working earlier in the match. They're starting to work a little bit now. And so he's picking up the momentum. He's got all the momentum as he heads into sort of the final stretch here. And the crowd's feeling it. They're like, the streak's about to be over for Greg Gage. We're about to have a new TV champion. But 73 for the rating. You guys called it. Brian in particular, I think, called it in the comments. Because just as Ed Stone has all the momentum, he's about to win the TV championship. Greg Gage is now down. He's bringing over the official. Greg Gage, he may be hurt, right? He's playing up that, hey, he needs the official to check on him. Here's why. Because jumping the railing is none other than the twin brother of Greg Gage, Matthew Keith. And he jumps the rail, goes over, grabs the TV title belt from the ringside area, and he wallops Ed Stone with the title belt while Greg Gage is being checked on by the official. Matthew Keith debuts with the arrogant heel gimmick, gets a great rating. That's good. He'll be penalized for taking part in comedy bouts. Trust me, he's not going to be any comedy bouts in TCW. 68 for the rating, and for the match, what do we get? Well, oh yeah, there we go. Now we're talking, okay? This is what I want to see more of throughout this show. In an 86 match, Greg Gage able to capitalize off of the title shot from Matthew Keith to Ed Stone, and Greg Gage gets the win in 14:37 following the interference from his brother. And Gage now successfully defended the TV title 14 times here. 86 for the in-ring performance for Greg Gage. Stone with a 69, but the 86 for the match rating. Tremendous stuff here from these two. We did do Still to Show. Of course, we did the interference finish, but Still to Show, these two guys went all out here, and they gave us a good one. Stone penalized for stamina. Yeah, but I mean, we'll take that, right? We'll take an 86 out of these two any day of the week. I don't care what kind of penalties we get. I'm not going to, kick myself over this only getting an 86. This delivered much more than the International Championship match did. So, yeah, we'll take this one. But Greg Gage retains the title, but the bigger story, of course, Matthew Keith has made his way to TCW to align himself with his brother, Greg Gage. And boy, is the Keith family stronger than ever here as these two seemingly aligned. And Greg Gage wasn't wrong about the family affair, right? Sorry, you can hear my voice is going out. I'm like, we got to get this recorded. And my voice, I know, doesn't sound the best, but hey, this is Total Mayhem. We push through it here. But the family affair turns into even more of a family affair with Matthew Keith aligning himself with Greg Gage. What does that mean for everyone else? Well, we will find out soon enough. 86 for a great match for the TV championship. All right, now we get a video package looking at the importance here of Angry Gilmore and Freddie Huggins. They're going to go one-on-one. Gilmore made it clear. He came from the SWF to TCW to do one thing, to win the real World Heavyweight Championship, the most prestigious prize in professional wrestling, the TCW World title. And he said that, hey, he's not getting any younger, and he knows this is his last chance to get that opportunity on a title he's never won before, the biggest title in wrestling. And so that is his goal here in TCW. He's already got a singles win over Jay Chord. And he's built a lot of, momentum heading into this match. Meanwhile, Freddie Huggins got his world title shot at Battleground, but Freddie has talked about conspiracies and saying that, he's brought out letters, all this stuff saying that, Aaron Andrews cheated to retain, which we know that was not the case. But Freddie saying he is the rightful number one contender and that he should be the man who faces the winner of Wolf Hawkins and Aaron Andrews. So not an official number one contenders match here, but a huge match in terms of the importance of who could potentially challenge the TCW World Heavyweight Champion here after Total Mayhem. So 73 for the rating. Let's see what we get. Angry Gilmore, Freddie Huggins, one-on-one. And in an 82 match, I'll take this because, as we know, Angry Gilmore is declining physical ability, so anything above an 80 for Angry, I will take at this point in his career. It is, though, Angry getting the win over Freddie Huggins, which we know is going to make Freddie angry, pun intended. 15-25, anger management as Gilmore gets the win here. Freddie with an 80 on the in-ring performance. Freddie's just a gem. He's a total gem. Angry gets a 74, which is probably better than I maybe would have thought a little bit. We didn't really add any much to this, just a regular match. We know we get the penalty for declining physical ability for Angry, so this really did about as good as it could have done, I think, all things considered. So a big victory for Angry Gilmore, and again, that puts him in a great spot potentially for being one of the next world title challengers coming out of this. And what does that mean for Freddie? I wonder if Freddie's gonna have another conspiracy here. Maybe he'll read another letter for us coming out of this one, but we know Freddie's not gonna be happy after this one, and instead he will be angry. And Angry is your winner here in a good match, I think. 82 here at Total Mayhem. All right, this next one, we didn't really have a segment to put between it, but it is going to be our big tag team, no-holds-barred match here between the two teams that absolutely hate each other at this point. The New Wave, the reuniting Scout and Guide, taking on the Elite, Nate Johnson, Eddie Chandler. This one's been brewing for a while. We know this. Doc Hammond leaves the Syndicate, reforms the New Wave with his friends. So Scout and Guide are back, and in a 64 match, which was fine, because as someone else noted, I think in the comments, boy, this is the declining physical ability match. Every single guy in this match has declining physical ability. It was kind of a good thing we put it all in one match, right? We didn't have to put these guys in separate matches to bring it down. Let's just bring them all down in this one. So, but as you see here, the story is that the New Wave, Scout and Guide, do get the win, 9:54, as Scout submits Nate Johnson with the Texas Cloverleaf, a submission victory for this one. You know the Elite are not going to be happy about that one. The Syndicate not going to be happy about that one. And so you see here we do have the note that Scout's turns on Eddie Chandler. This was kind of one of those things where we couldn't officially turn Scout because of the potential penalty. Now we've gotten to the point where we can officially turn him. It's kind of been brewing for a month or so now. But, yeah, time-wise, we had to kind of wait it out. But, again, we had regular match here. Again, we're going to laugh about the declining physical ability because every single person in this match, inconsistency, the odd face coming. This match was not the one that we did for a rating. This was just, again, kind of your grudge match. And so we do get the official turn for Doc Hammond here, Scout. So we're going to officially turn it. Complete success, as we expected. We built that up for several segments. So 64, the New Wave get the win. And what will that mean for the Elite, who have lost kind of their first big match here? And what will, Wolf have to say? Because he was all about, one of the things Wolf's had on his mind has been just the complete destruction of one-man army. And now that Doc Hammond's left the group, we know Doc Hammond's an enemy. So, but unfortunately, his team here, the Elite, cannot get it done. The New Wave win the brawl, no-holds-barred style. Scout, the submission on Nate Johnson here, forces him to tap out. 64 here for this match. All right, now we get to one of our featured attractions in this one, and we get the video package looking at the rivalry between Jay Chord and Sammy Bach. 89 here for this one. Tremendous stuff. And again, kind of playing up everything that's led to this point. Jay Chord saying it's all about fulfilling his destiny. Sammy Bach is just someone who is just continually in his way, and basically he's going to take Sammy Bach, out back and rid himself of him because he's talked about, old man Bach and all this other stuff. So that's how Jay Chord's playing it up, just very confident heading into this one. Of course, on the flip side, Sammy Bach has talked about how Jay Chord has no respect. He's a kid. He has no respect for anybody. He'll do whatever he has to do to get what he wants, and he's going to try to teach him some respect. It's always been about respect, and Jay Chord kind of sticking his nose in his business and getting involved in everything, with Aaron Andrews and all this other stuff on the road to Total Mayhem. And so Sammy Bach, as the veteran here in TCW, is out to prove something to Jay Chord Just, again, that's kind of been the story here. These two just completely opposite in terms of personalities here. And now we get to the match, and it will be Jay Chord one-on-one. Sammy Bach, 5 months in the making here. What do we get out of this one? Let's see. And, man, this did not do as well as I would have wanted it to do at all. But nonetheless, we'll take it. 83 here for the rating, as it is Sammy Bach getting the win over Jay Chord, 15-21 with the fast roll-up. So we did do the flash pinfall finish here. And this may be a little surprising to some people that Sammy Bach would get the win over Jay Chord on the big stage, but we did kind of protect Chord a little bit with the flash pinfall, I guess you could say. I thought this would do better. 83, but again, Bach is someone with declining physical ability. Sometimes you just don't know, how that can impact some of these matches, but better announcing. The announcing has definitely been a problem in some of these. I know we're getting penalized for the announcing in some of it. Yeah, poor announcing. But, it is kind of Sammy Bach, declining physical ability, inconsistency. You do the best you can with Sammy at this point. Some matches are good, some are not, or some can reach kind of that high level. I thought this one could, but it didn't. And so we take what we can get. But it is Sammy Bach getting the win over Jay Chord. Of course, the story after the match is Chord is just beside himself. Because, look, he's lost another big match. He lost the one-on-one match to Angry Gilmore, which, of course, came via what Jay Chord called a distraction from Sammy Bach. Sammy Bach came out in the aisle and just stared at him, which led to Angry Gilmore hitting the Angry Management and getting the pin on Jay Chord. But he's lost another one now. He's lost another big match to Sammy Bach here. This rivalry, and talk about confidence. And that's the story here, is that Jay Chord just got a little too confident, thinking he had the match won, and then the veteran, Sammy Bach, out of nowhere with the fast roll-up, gets the victory. And so that's kind of the story that we're playing up here. We talked about kind of the respect. Jay Chord's still young. He takes another big loss here, though. And what is that going to mean for Jay Chord moving forward? What's he going to do now moving forward after losing another big match? As the veteran, Sammy Bach gets, his number here and is able to get the victory, a huge spot and a huge win for Sammy Bach in an 83 match here for this one. So what will happen coming out of it? You guys know there will be plenty going on coming out of this match in particular moving forward. So 83, I would have liked it to be better, but that's okay. Well, hopefully the rest of the matches deliver, especially one in particular, the main event. But Greg Gage, Ed Stone was fantastic. Even though the international title match wasn't as good as I thought it could be, this one probably didn't reach that level, but hey, it is what it is. These are all 80 matches. We'll take them. So, all right, now we get to the $10,000 Battle Royal, and you can already see a couple of fresh faces on the scene here in the $10,000 Battle Royal, as one of them is Matthew Keith, and the other, the debuting ZWB Zimmy, has made his way to TCW flat out. His contract was up with SWF. The guy can work. He's got star quality. He's fantastic. One of the best probably lightweights out there in terms of what he can do. And so it was a no-brainer for me to bring him in, add some more kind of star power to the mix here. And so the story here is that these are the final four. ZWB, Human Arsenal, Matt Hawking, Matthew Keith. It's also noted that Matthew Keith comes out when the match starts, and he says, he's arrogant, right? The arrogant heel. We saw the gimmick. He's saying, don't worry, I'm here. You got to see me earlier, but you didn't know that I was going to be in the Battle Royal. I'm the person, the big debut that everyone's talked about. Could there be a debuting star? The star is here, and Matthew Keith is going to do exactly what my brother did earlier, and that's win a big match. And so he plays that up. But then right afterwards, ZWB comes out. People lose their mind because he is, in fact, the big debuting star that has kind of been teased a little bit for the debut. He is the one that makes his way out. And so we get the final four here. ZWB, Arsenal, Hawking, Keith. And it does work its way down to ZWB and Matthew Keith, the two debuting guys, or the two finalists in this match. And we see the great rating here. Good job. Showstopper for ZWB. Again, tremendous worker. And so we get to the finish, and just as Matthew Keith thinks he's got it won, ZWB, his high-flying ability, able to leap over Matthew Keith, turn the tide here, and able to pull the rope down, and Matthew Keith comes running over, and he flips over the top. 62 for this one. So your winner is ZWB as he wins the Battle Royal in 10:25. Again, the final four, Matthew Keith, Arsenal. I don't know why Bart Biggins was in there. Actually, Matt Hawking was in there. That's what we had as noted. I don't know why Bart Biggins is in there. I know we didn't set that. But Matt Hawkins is the person we have as the most eliminations. Why? Because we're kind of playing up the story that he's the understudy of Freddie Huggins, right? So he's learning from Freddie, and so Matt Hawkins is basically just sitting back the entire match and just waiting for someone to get near the ropes or someone to get in position to be thrown over the top, and then he just goes over and pushes him over, right? He's just kind of gets involved in all this. We're really sneaky from Matt Hawkins here. That's kind of how we play it up here. But again, I don't know why Bart Biggins in there, because I know for 100% certainty we have Matt Hawkins as the Final Four too. But hey, maybe Bart Biggins gets a little bit coming out of here too, because we know Bart needs anything right now at this stage of his career. So Jake Idle off his game. Nick Booth getting better at his gimmick. Not really a lot to note here. I didn't expect a good rating from this match, but 56 for this one. So after the match, ZWB is victorious, and you know who's pissed about that? Matthew Keith. And so as he's kind of yelling at ZWB, here comes Greg Gage making his way down. And Gage goes over to his brother, and they're just kind of up there yelling at ZWB, saying, "That's our money. That's our money you got." So he's got this big, $10,000 cash, right? Like this guy's got a lot of money here. And so Greg Gage and Matthew Keith are standing outside the ring, kind of see maybe what's coming here, right? The two heels, ZWB in the ring by himself. And who comes out for the save? You knew it. ZWB gets a little help here from Ed Stone as Stone makes his way out. And, of course, Ed Stone is pissed off because he got screwed out of the championship from Matthew Keith earlier with the title shot belt, or the title shot right to the head. And so Ed Stone back out. You can see him kind of wrapped up, too, after he got busted open with a title shot from Matthew Keith. So Ed Stone comes out, and he is standing side to side with ZWB here as these two continue to yell towards them. And Gage is like, I beat you. And Ed Stone fired up here after the loss. And so there you go. That's kind of how we finish off this $10,000 Battle Royal. A little more, maybe impactful than some may have expected this Battle Royal to be. But we see these two standing, side by side in the ring, the two brothers outside. Although, I don't know, ZWB could probably be a long-lost brother here, the Keith family. Maybe that's a storyline we'll run. ZWB's actually the third brother. This one may be, right? Could be. But, yeah, kind of choosing sides here. And you can see, got a lot of interesting interactions to come with two debuting stars here on the show, ZWB and Matthew Keith. And the continued grudge with the family here, Greg Gage, Ed Stone. So that's how we wrap up the Battle Royal portion here of this particular show. 74, good rating here for this one. And then that's going to lead us into this next match, which serves a purpose, and that is to put it before the main event slot. As the Behemoths, Killer Shark, and Titan get the win over Benny and the Fox, 9:49, when Titan pins Flying Jimmy Fox with a Titanic chokeslam, 61 for this one. Not a lot to note here. Again, this match was just kind of one that we honestly put together to give the Behemoths a win. That's about it. That's about all we got for this one. But it is worth noting on commentary, Kyle Rhodes points out that there is no Eddie Peak ringside, which is unusual for a Behemoths match. And so there's no Eddie Peak, and we know Eddie lost earlier to Mighty Mo. So commentary kind of playing up, what does that mean for the future of Eddie Peak here moving forward? So that's kind of noted here, but too much to overcome. Benny and the Fox against the Behemoths. Killer Shark and Titan get the win. All right, we've made it. The match that sold 50,000 tickets here at the Greenwald Dome. We're here, the main event. The video package here looks at the road to Wolf Hawkins versus Aaron Andrews for the TCW World Heavyweight Championship. 82 for this one. I don't care. But, of course, the story has been that Wolf has been trying to get his championship back, that he lost to Aaron Andrews last July, and Andrews has talked about all the pressure that's put on Wolf here. It's put all the pressure on him, needing to win that championship, thinking about it for 280-plus days, and now can he do it without help from the Syndicate? And Aaron Andrews has talked about how the Syndicate has never been weaker. Wolf has lost two guys in his group. He threw out Chris Flynn. Doc Hammond turned on him. He's tried to say that he's rebuilt the Syndicate into the greatest force that it's ever been, and Andrews just says that's not the case. Wolf will do anything he has to do. I understand that, but he's not focused, and he has all the pressure on him heading into this match. And Wolf just talked about how the Syndicate has never been stronger and how he's never been stronger because of that. And so, as always, he will do it by any means necessary to get back his TCW World Heavyweight title. And, of course, again, we've had all the interactions between these two over the past 5 months. Wolf with the vicious attack we kind of brought up earlier, the car and all this with Youngman and all this other stuff. And so everything has led to this big match. Wolf Hawkins, Aaron Andrews, one-on-one TCW World Heavyweight Championship. And we get into the match here. Don't worry, it's not the match rating, although I would absolutely take a 97, but the way this show is going, I'm telling you right now, this match is probably going to underdeliver, but it's okay. So, the story of the match is that, these two just beating the hell out of each other, right? It's fully what you would expect from these two. Taking it to each other inside the steel cage. There's no interference. There's none of that. It's just these two all alone in the cage. They beat the hell out of each other. And, both busted open at this point, right? This is an old school cage match. They're both busted open. Everyone will stop at nothing here. Every party in this match will stop at nothing to be victorious. And so we work towards a spot where Aaron Andrews is kind of able to continue to control things here a little bit with Wolf. But Wolf able to get a little cheap shot in on Aaron Andrews. And that is enough time for Wolf to pull something out of his trunks. And we talked about, throughout this match, Wolf has kind of turned up the aggression a little bit. We pointed that out. That's been a theme with some of the matches he's had over the past couple months. He's turned up the aggression a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. He's doing that in this match. But then he takes it to this level. As what Wolf pulls out of his trunks, and the crowd oohing and aahing as they realize what it is a pair of handcuffs. As Wolf has Aaron Andrews reeling near the cage, near the ropes, Wolf grabs Aaron Andrews' hand, and he handcuffs it to the steel cage. And you can see Andrews is trying to pull away, and the crowd is realizing, oh my goodness, how is he going to get out of this? There's no one around. Wolf has handcuffed Aaron Andrews to the cage. And then from there, everything we've talked about with the aggression, this is why. Because Wolf just completely obliterates Aaron Andrews, punches, swift kicks right to the face. Wolf is just beating at Aaron Andrews here. He's punching him in the ribs. He is just attacking and dissecting Aaron Andrews. And Andrews, again, we see the blood just flying off of him. He had already been busted open, but every time Wolf hits him, he hits him a little bit harder than the last time. Blood flying off of Aaron Andrews here. And then we get to a point here where basically Aaron Andrews, the only thing that's holding him up is the fact that his arm is extended because it's handcuffed to the cage. And that's the only thing that is propping him up on the ropes here. And then what does Wolf do? When he's had enough, he reaches back into the trunks. He pulls out the key to the handcuffs. He uncuffs Aaron Andrews, who now, he's out of it, right? And then Wolf drags Aaron Andrews to the middle of the ring, and Wolf hits the full moon rising to defeat Aaron Andrews for the TCW World Heavyweight Championship in a 93 rated match. Again, I knew just sort of letting these guys take the match, it was going to do very well. As you see, Wolf with a 96 on his in-ring performance, Aaron Andrews with a 94. The commentary hurt us here, which is why we did not probably get the type of rating we needed. And you can see penalties across the board for the commentary team here. So that brings it down a little bit. So we did about as well as we could have done, probably, all things considered, with the commentary group and all that. Look, I know I've probably not addressed the commentary to the point that I needed to, but sometimes you just, start booking shows and you forget about the commentary and try to find other guys who can work out well. And we have actually made a couple additions, I think, on the commentary front, but that was way back in January. And this was the pairing that had the best experience as a group, was Azaria and Rhodes here. So just continued with that for this big show. But listen, I'm not going to be upset about a 93. We'll take it from these two. Wolf gets the win, but again, the big story. We have a new World Heavyweight Champion. Wolf did what he said he was going to do, and he did it by any means necessary as he pulled out the handcuffs and then just took it to a level we've never seen before with Wolf Hawkins. That was the story here. And now we get the visual of Wolf Hawkins standing over Aaron Andrews here as Aaron Andrews just completely busted wide open, and Wolf standing over him. Wolf also dripping blood here from this just complete war that these two have been through, and he's holding up the TCW World Heavyweight Championship. And just as we think that's it, we hear the voice and commentary take a bit of a turn here from Kyle Rhodes to where he's putting over Wolf as the champion, all this other stuff. And then Kyle Rhodes essentially saying, hold on just a second. Let me, everyone, sorry, I'm being told something in my ear right now. He's here? He's here at the arena. And Kyle Rhodes just notes, well, hold on. So yeah, we've got the increased security. We put all the increased security here tonight to make sure there was none of the shenanigans, especially after the Matthew Keith match. So we've made sure no one's able to get Pat. But he's here. Wow. Are you guys hearing this? Are you hearing the same thing, Jason, that I'm hearing? That he's here? Yes. And we hear Jason say, yes, Kyle, I've just heard this. And Rhodes is just like, yeah, I mean, you're asking me? Yeah. Let him through. Let him through. And so Wolf has no idea what's going on. Of course, Aaron Andrews has no idea what's going on. But we just hear Kyle Rhodes say, yes, let him through. And who makes his way down the aisle? The crowd is turned when they realize that this guy has made his entrance. And it is a pop. The buzzing of the crowd, unlike anything we've ever seen before in our TCW save, and that is because the person walking down the aisle and Wolf Hawkins turns around with the title belt over his shoulder, and he sees the face of the one and only Tommy Cornell, who is walking down the aisle. He goes over to the cage. The referee that is in charge of the match opens the cage for Tommy Cornell here. Cornell walks into the cage. He pulls the door shut behind him. And he walks up as Wolf Hawkins looks like he has just seen a ghost. Wolf is confused. He has no idea what's going on. You can see it on his face. Wolf is stunned as Aaron Andrews laying right underneath Wolf here. And Tommy Cornell walks up to Wolf Hawkins, and then he sort of just tells Wolf to move out of the way. And as Wolf takes a step to the side here, because remember, he's standing over top of Aaron Andrews, who's just completely out of it at this point, Tommy Cornell just gets down, and he's just staring at Aaron Andrews, just continues to just stare right at Aaron Andrews. He's looking into this guy's eyes, but this guy's just out of it, right? And then Cornell stands up, and he goes over face-to-face with Wolf yet again. And Tommy Cornell takes his hand, pats Wolf right on the chest, and then he takes his other hand, and he grabs Wolf's and raises it in the middle of the ring as Tommy Cornell holds up Wolf Hawkins' hand. Wolf with a title belt on the other shoulder here, on the where the other arm is. And that is your visual as we go off the air for Total Mayhem. Tommy Cornell and Wolf Hawkins standing over Aaron Andrews. And it is Cornell who has raised the arm of our new World Heavyweight Champion, Wolf Hawkins. So that is how we finish up Total Mayhem. 85 for the segment. Great rating for Tommy's gimmick here. And so, let me just tell you, I looked right from the start of the series. What was the contract status of Tommy Cornell? I knew it would be up around 4.5 months in. Perfect timing for Total Mayhem. So we've had him under contract for about, 3 or 4 weeks now, I guess. And we have been saving him for this moment as he makes a shocking return to TCW and raises the arm of Wolf Hawkins to finish Total Mayhem 2020. 85 for the segment here, and we are going to wrap up the show, which gets a 92 overall. But let me tell you guys something, because you're going to see some things here that look maybe a little bit different than you saw as I actually talked about them. And one in particular, T-Bone and Joshua Taylor get an 85 here. Thank goodness. Greg Gage and Ed Stone actually gets a 91 here. All right. So, This is probably, I've done the WWE 2021 save 100 plus episodes. AEW save, I think, was 20-something plus episodes. We're 10 episodes into the WWE 2024 save. We're 35 plus episodes into this TCW save. It has taken me longer to record this particular edition, this particular episode, than any other show I think I've ever recorded in TEW. And the reason why is because I always say from the very start, I learned you have to make a backup, because if you don't, you're in trouble. And I realized that this time, because every time I tried to continue along here, and I got closer to the main event, which, by the way, let me let you know, the first time around, the main event got a 95 the first time around. So we actually took a bit of a hit on the main event. We got a little extra out of a couple of these matches, but we took the hit on the main event. If you want to know what Jay Chord and Sammy Bach got, 86, so it did better too than the first time around. Actually, probably the second time around. So what happened? Well, every time I tried to advance to get to the main event portion, which started with the main event angle that we did before you got to the actual result, my computer popped up the phrase, your computer is out of space. So it would not let me advance past this. And so what I had to do was clear up a bunch of space, but in the meantime, I had to close this every single time. I did this twice. I cleared out space. It did it to me twice. So let me just tell you, I don't even care about the ratings at this point. This took me longer to record. I mean, this was 3 hours or so of trying to record this 30-something minute episode. But I had to start over 3 times. I was getting to the point where I'm like, is this show cursed? Am I just not going to be able to record Total Mayhem? Are we going to, am I going to lose the save here or something? Luckily, we did not. And again, even though we take a little bit of a hit on the main event from a rating standpoint, because it got a 95 the last time I tried to record this is number 3, we still got a little bit of help on the other one. So I'm not going to be upset. But yeah, this was a very frustrating recording experience. But I wanted to get this done for you guys. And so hopefully you enjoyed the show, which gets a 92, of course, built off the back of a great main event, which may be a little higher if we took that 95 the first time I recorded this. But a mix and match of ratings here. But whatever. At this point, I don't even care. We did the show, got a 92, our biggest show of the year. And yeah, that was a wild one with a lot of big developments, as you saw, but none bigger than the return of Tommy Cornell. So we will make a few speeches, and we'll see what we get to before we wrap up. All right, so that was Total Mayhem, 50,000 fans in attendance, an awesome show, fantastic reviews. Again, built off the great main event, which, again, I'm still a little bitter that we don't have the 95 to work with, but blame my computer for that. But hey, at least, again, some of the other matches did better, so maybe my computer gets the benefit for those particular matches getting better ratings this last time around through the save. But, all right, let's look at our mail here for this one, because I assume we have quite a few. So the U.S. area battle result. I'm not going to get into this right now. We're going to save that for the State of TCW for June. So we'll get into that afterwards. So let's not even focus on that right now. We see Aaron Andrews has an opinion. What's that going to be? Perfect. Ernest Youngman turning into a good worker. The kid is worth getting behind. Well, good to know, Aaron Andrews, because as you know, you've got a bit of a rivalry now with Ernest Youngman. So you may firsthand find out that he is worth getting behind for this one. So, all right, great stuff from Aaron Andrews. That's good to know after he took the bloody beatdown from Wolf inside the cage. Drug test fees, viewing figures, 968,972 viewers. That's a lot of people watching Total Mayhem. And the pay-per-view buy rate gets a 1.93. Tremendous stuff for us there. Of course, we said, I don't know if I mentioned, Tana actually got injured. I know we did the injury angle, but he actually got injured. He injured his little sprained ankle action. But he's still sidelined indefinitely due to what we talked about there. Again, we'll get into the area battle results and all that coming afterwards. But, boy, am I excited to look at all this stuff right here. The size, the worker popularity, storylines, all this other stuff coming out of Total Mayhem. And we will do that on the next episode of this particular save as we do our State of, like we do at the first of every month. But there was Total Mayhem, a tremendous show on every single level. I could not have been, again, I say that, right? But it's like during the recording, I told you guys I was a little disappointed in some of the matches. But turns out they're actually going to work out just fine based on having to spend 3+ hours recording this thing and having to start this over three times. So we'll take it. I mean, it is what it is. We'll take it. So at least we got this show done. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed it. A lot of great feedback on this TCW. I had no idea what to expect when we started this thing, because I was like, I know everybody kind of joined the channel based on, real world saves and all that with the WWE, AEW, WCW saves, all those. But I had no idea what to expect. But you guys have been awesome with the feedback, and I hope this was a show that kind of sent us, again, sort of into the next stratosphere now, as we've got a lot of stuff coming out of this with all the big developments. We had some debuts. We had some big wins. Gage retains the TV title. T-Bone wins the international title. Wolf wins the World Heavyweight title. Tommy Cornell is back in TCW. He's raising the hand of Wolf Hawkins. What does that mean moving forward? We got so much stuff to sink our teeth into storyline-wise moving forward. So hopefully you will join us for that. So be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And again, I really appreciate you guys. You didn't actually have to see all the technical issues, but I know this is a bit of a longer episode. But yeah, I mean, this was our biggest show of the year. And so I'm glad we got it recorded. I'm glad it worked out to where we at least, still did a pretty good show, even having to go through and take the chances about 3 different times on the saves. And hopefully my computer will not do this to me again when it comes to any show that we do, but especially the biggest show of the year, Total Mayhem. So I appreciate you guys as always. Let me know what you thought of the show and all the stories coming out of it. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun on this TCW save moving forward. And so on the next episode of our TCW save, it will be the state of TCW for June 2020.